Leadership can be incredibly rewarding, but if we're honest with ourselves, it can also be incredibly lonely. You see, the higher you climb, the fewer people understand the weight you carry. Everyone sees the title, very few see the burden. Everyone celebrates the promotion. Few recognize the sacrifice that came with it. There are conversations you can't have as a leader, decisions you can't avoid, pressure you can't delegate, people counting on you, while you're wondering who you can count on yourself. And if you've ever felt isolated, misunderstood, or exhausted by the responsibility of leadership, I want you to know something today. You're not alone. Welcome back to Rise to Lead. My name is Doran Anderson. Thank you for joining me. One of the greatest misconceptions about leadership is that success eliminates struggle, but it doesn't. In many ways, success introduces new struggles. Leadership often means making difficult decisions when there are no easy answers. It means carrying responsibilities that others never see. It means putting on a calm face while quietly asking God for wisdom behind closed doors. Today, we're going to talk about one of leadership's least discussed realities, the loneliness of leadership. One of the greatest surprises of my career wasn't the workload, it wasn't the travel, and it wasn't the long hours. It was discovering how isolating leadership can become. As your responsibilities increase, your circle, it often becomes smaller. And that's not because you love people less, but because every conversation carries greater responsibility. Some decisions affect hundreds of families. Some conversations can't leave the room. Sometimes you carry information no one else can know. Leadership can feel like you're standing on a mountain where the view is incredible, but there are not many people standing beside you. You see, success doesn't eliminate pressure. People often believe leaders eventually arrive, that one day everything becomes easy. But the truth is, the responsibility simply becomes heavier. The decisions become more complex. The consequences become greater. I've learned that leadership isn't about avoiding pressure. It's about learning how to carry it without letting it carry you. Pressure isn't always proof you're failing. Sometimes it's proof you've been trusted with greater responsibilities as a leader. You see, even great leaders felt alone. Some of the greatest leaders in scripture experienced loneliness. Think about Moses, who carried the burden of leading the entire nation. Elijah reached a point where he believed that he was the only faithful servant. David spent years hiding in a cave before wearing a crown. Even Jesus experienced moments when those closest to him didn't fully understand the mission he was carrying. Leadership has always involved seasons of loneliness, but loneliness doesn't mean God has abandoned you. Sometimes it's in those quiet seasons that speaks the clearest to you. Don't carry the weight of leadership alone. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is believing that they have to carry everything themselves. Strength isn't pretending you have all the answers. Strength is knowing when to ask for wisdom. Every leader needs people who can speak truth into their life, people who aren't impressed by their title, people who care more about their soul than your success, people who can ask you difficult questions. Who are your people? Who has permission to challenge you? Who reminds you when your leadership begins to identify your identity? And if you don't have those people, start praying for them. No leader was created to lead in isolation. Your identity is bigger than your title. One of the greatest dangers in leadership is confusing who you are with what you do. You're more than your position, more than your paycheck, more than your business card, more than your accomplishments. You see, titles change, companies change, careers change, but God's purpose for your life doesn't. If your identity is rooted in your title, every career setback feels like a personal failure. But when your identity is rooted in who God says you are, you can navigate both success and disappointment with humility. Never allow leadership to become your identity. Let it become your assignment. When leadership becomes heavy, these four practices have anchored me. First, protect your quiet time with God. Second, invest in your health. You see, a tired leader rarely makes wise decisions. Third, stay connected to people who know you the most, the real you, not your title, you. And fourth, remember your why. Leadership without purpose eventually becomes performance. Leadership rooted in purpose becomes service. If leadership feels lonely today, don't quit. If people you're leading may never fully understand the weight you carry, that's okay. You see, God does. I want you to keep showing up, keep serving, keep listening, keep learning, keep trusting. You see, the very pressure you're carrying today may be preparing you to encourage another leader tomorrow. Sometimes your greatest ministry isn't found in your success, it's found in the wisdom you gain from surviving difficult seasons. One day you'll look back and realize that the lonely seasons weren't empty at all. They were where your character deepened, your faith matured, and your dependence on God became stronger than your confidence in yourself. Before we end today's episode, I want to leave you with one thought. Leadership isn't measured by how many people applaud you. It's measured by how faithfully you served, even when no one notices. So if today feels heavy, keep going. If today feels lonely, keep trusting. If today feels uncertain, keep believing. Because every great leader eventually discovers this truth. The weight of leadership is real, but so is the strength God provides to carry it. Thank you for joining me on Rise to Lead. If this episode encouraged you, share it with another leader who may need this reminder today. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Visit rise2lead.com to learn more about our leadership experiences, some of our executive coaching and resources. Until next time, lead with humility, lead with courage, lead with faith. And remember, the higher you lead, the more important it becomes to stay grounded. God bless you.